But yeah, moving on, we've Limerick. I mean, this is an easy one, really. It's definitely an A. You win the All Ireland. There can't be any complaints about that. And as we've said on previous podcasts before, like, I mean, Limerick have to do this the hardest way possible. I mean, they played Kilkenny when they played at their absolute best. I mean, they played Galway, who, probably give one of their best performances of the season. They played Waterford when they were still, really, really up for it and were sort of in really good form at that moment in time. So, A plus, whatever is above A, I think you have to give it to Limerick.
Yeah, exactly. What else could you give them? Like, it's kind of expected that Limerick will win the All Ireland each year. It's kind of like when we were grading Dublin, I think in 2020, or was it Patrick on that video? It's kind of difficult because they've kind of reached the pinnacle nearly every year. And like a lot of people would say, oh, they're in line with expectations, so we'll give them a C. But you just can't ignore A, simple as they were absolutely outstanding. And as you mentioned there, they were put to the pin their collar against Galway, against Kilkenny, against Clare, against Waterford. When those 2 goals went in for Waterford, they still found a way to win it. Like, when you look at the whole season, only the Cork game was pretty comprehensive victory for them. Even Tipperary put it up to them in the last 10 minutes. They were leading going into the last 10 minutes, and Limerick still pulled it out of the bag. That shows the sign of a great team. And even players like Garrod Haggerty, for example, wasn't having his best year, and then the final he pops up with his whole of 1-5. That's the team Limerick are. That's the standards John Kiley sets, and they've been an outstanding team over the past few years. Paul Kinnerk doing a lot of work in the background as well. So this Limerick team is not going away. They might even win 6 in a row. Hold on to your horses there, Aaron. They're coming for your record there. They're going for the 6 in a row. I'm not sure would you want that, but they're going for it. They're on the right road for it, and it's an undoubted A for Limerick. Absolutely superb team. What else can you say?
Yeah, I mean, and I've enjoyed Limerick's success, to be fair, like winning the 3 All-Irelands. And, like as a Dublin man, I don't like seeing Kilkenny being too successful, because they dominated through, my childhood and, most of my life. So it's nice seeing a different team coming along and being successful. But as you said there, like, it might be time to, start putting another jersey on, like, especially when Dublin get knocked out. Like, whoever Limerick are going up against, I might need to start supporting them, because, as you said there, like, going for, like, they've won 3 in a row, they've won 4 in the last 5. You think if they didn't have that defeat to Kilkenny, they'd have done the 5 in a row. Like, so they're getting very, very close. Look, it will be tough, because there's a lot of very, very good sides in hurling, as we know, and you'd expect Waterford to regroup. Liam Cahill, obviously, there under Tipperary next year. It's going to be very, very interesting, which we'll obviously discuss a little bit later. Wexford will improve, Kilkenny with a new manager. Like, there's a lot of variables there, but what do you think? Could Limerick be on track to potentially dominate, and do you think they will, outdo the Dubs and potentially win more than 6 in a row? I mean, it sounds crazy, because there's a lot of things that could happen between now and then, but they definitely are on track at the minute anyway.
I'm sure you want my answer, Aaron, to be no, because that's the thing Dublin have to keep them going, keep them ticking. But look, I'd say they're on the road for it. They just have the strength, conditioning, like the way they keep going to the final whistle as well. And Garrod Haggerty, that point epitomised us in the final as well. When there seemed to be, the legs seem to have gone out of that Limerick team, and he still pops up with an outrageous score. That's Limerick. That's an outstanding team right there. And I honestly think they will go for the 6 in a row. Look, when you look at the teams, I think Kilkenny, if Brian Cody stayed with Kilkenny, I think that record would have been under threat, because Cody would have had the determination. But no, I just think this Limerick team, the sky's the limit for them. They have an outstanding base. John Kiley is an excellent coach. They're probably the best team, player for player, all over the field. Licky Quaid, will he go on ages? And a goalkeeper can. Sean Finn is the most consistent player. Barry Nash is improving year and year and year, and he will improve again next year. Mike Casey's come in full back. That's absolutely colossal. Like, even the defenses with Dermot Burns, Aaron Gallant's scoring record from playing every game this year, superb. Seamus Flanagan. And to think, they went through this run in the All-Ireland without a 2-time player of the year. That just shows you the strength and depth of this Limerick team. And I just think the sky's the limit for them. My prediction, they're going to win the 6 in a row. They're just an outstanding team. It's hard to look past them. They're just outstanding from first to 15th player, and even the players coming on, Conor Boyle and David Reedy, coming onto the pitch. Kyle Hayes can play anywhere. This team is absolutely unreal and will be there for a long period of time. So strap yourselves in, lads. It's going to be a period of Limerick dominance.
Yeah, Ali says, imagine if someone said this would happen back in 2016-17. Yeah, absolutely mad. Like, I remember, not to rub it in or anything, but I remember Dublin beating Limerick, I think it was in 2015 or 2016 in the qualifiers, you know, and the likes of Dan Morrissey were playing that day, Shane Dowland were playing, you know, so a lot of the players were playing that day. And you even think back, like John Kiley's first season in 2017, they didn't win a championship game. They lost both championship games that they were in, obviously, because there was no round robin. Like, so, you know, it is kind of mad. It shows what can happen if you back your manager, if you get behind it, if you have a process. Right, year one, fair enough, it didn't work. Like, you've a lot of county boards now that are pulling triggers on managers after 1 year, and you know, obviously, you think of Colin Bonner, which, you know, we'll obviously get onto a little bit later. But Dylan also says here the Limerick Hurlers is like Dublin footballers in the 10s winning 2013, falling short of Donegal in 2014, and then the 6 in a row happened. But I think Clare or Galway can beat Limerick. They were close. And yeah, Orlally says hurling was so competitive until Limerick came along. Now it's like football when Dublin were dominating. And yeah, like with this Limerick side, like what impresses me as well is we know the talent levels are there, but it's that mental aspect of them. I think that's very underrated. Like when the going gets tough, much like the Dubs, you know, there was plenty of times when Dublin put in poor performances. You know, the 2016 All-Ireland final, drawn game always stands out for me. 2015, we were fairly dreadful against Kerry. Both teams were pretty poor that day, but found a way. And the good teams, the great teams, in any sport really, you know, the best athletes, they find a way to pull through. And it's not just because of talent levels, it's also because of the mentality. And I think Limerick have that in absolute abundance, in my opinion.
They do, yeah. They're just an outstanding team, even 1 to 15, the skill level, the strength and conditioning. Like, the thing is, the Kilkenny 2000s team, like I was talking to, I think it was Seamus Brady on either my own podcast or his podcast off air, actually. Who would win? The Kilkenny team in the 2000s under Cody or Limerick? Look, it's different eras, but at the same time, just Limerick, the strength of them throughout the field, the strength and conditioning, skill level, I think they're equal. But strength and conditioning, Limerick would win it hands down because of the way the game's developed. They're just an outstanding team. And another interesting point as well, Kilkenny kind of had it easy around that period because Kilkenny were the only great team around them, maybe Tipperary as well. When you look at Limerick, you have Clare, you have Galway, Cork on their day, that's the thing, on their day. Kilkenny, Waterford on their day as well. You have a few teams there, and Limerick still put them to the sword time and time again, even with OK Lynch starting in the team, even when he's injured. You know, this team has so much gears to go up on. It's going to be a mystery when they'll finish, but they've been an outstanding team, and I'll be interested to see your thoughts, Aaron. Would Kilkenny in the 2000s win, or this Limerick team currently?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very interesting question, isn't it? Like, I mean, see, the thing is, the game has changed quite a lot, though, hasn't it? So, I mean, like what Kilkenny were doing back then is completely different to what Limerick are doing now. Like, and you see, like, if you go back and look at the scores of All-Ireland finals in 2005, 2006, 2007, they were far less than what we're seeing now. Like, Kilkenny scoring 226. You know, like a side has never scored that and not won the All-Ireland. Like, there's been teams who scored far less in a final and won the All-Ireland. So it's one of them things where both sides are from different eras. So it's hard, but it is an interesting one. Like with Brian Cody and his pomp and Henry Shefflin there, Eddie Brennan, you know, like TJ Carey, even if you want to go back to him, a young TJ Reid, like so much talent all across the pitch with Kilkenny. It would be, it'd be one hell of a spectacle. It's a bit like, you know, when people say what would happen between Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, do you know that way? Like, but it's two different eras, so it's hard to really know. Do you know that way?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you see the comparisons even with the Kerry 80s team under Mick O'Dwyer and the Dublin team in the 2010s. Like, it is different eras. I definitely agree with you. Like, if you were to put the two 15s facing off against each other, I think Limerick would win because of the way the hurling game is developed. Like, Waterford lost the final away to Kilkenny heavily, and they only scored, I can remember this score, they only scored 1-9, and they scored the goal through a lucky free. So it has developed over the years, and Cork performed pretty poorly against Limerick. And what did they score last year? I think it was 120 something anyway, I'm sure, Cork. So you know, that just shows you case in point there that the game has developed. And yeah, it's going to be very hard to you know, to choose, but player for player, skill wise, you probably choose Kilkenny, but strength and conditioning wise, you have to choose Limerick. It depends what a person would rather really in a game of hurling. So I suppose it's down to people's perspectives as well. But if they were to face with two big teams in their full pomp, that would be some spectacle to look forward to. How much would the tickets be? It would be very high anyway, Aaron, I'd say.